Welcome back to Rivertown. And last time we did build this area to cater for all those complaints about not having uh, bigger homes or that the houses were too small, and we resolved that. But since then, the game had some updates. There was also a new mod that came into the market or the standard store that was called Land Value Overhaul, and that is now installed. That will help us avoid that death spiral of the city where all the land value went up and everyone abandoned their houses and like we can't grow anymore. So to take a look at that, at the moment we are still balancing the land value. We were at 60,000 when I load the game, and now we are at 40,000, and it's going down like to a very realistic number, because otherwise everyone would complain about their rents being too high, and there's still some houses that are still finding some trouble, but things are getting, like for example this poor house, it still has some money and their rent is just 37 per month. So it's possible now for them to leave, and that's the goal. But there are some other things that changed since the updates. For example, unemployment, we were around the 500 mark, and because we added a lot of more residential, this went up a little bit. But since I load the game, this just changed for any reason whatsoever. I think the calculation for unemployment were completely wrong as well, and we now are going towards the 3,000 mark for unemployment, which means that we need a area to provide jobs for all this population. We'll also take a look at how many people we might be needing for our jobs we need for each of the tiers of education. And for the uneducated, we have everyone is employed, which might mean that we need more jobs for them over there. For the poorly educated, we also might need more jobs for them. For the educated, is kind of we have enough. You can see it's just below the mark there. Could provide a little bit more as well, just to compensate for new people moving in, as population is still growing, 34,000 at the moment. Well educated, we do have enough jobs. Highly educated, we don't have enough people. So those are the jobs that we don't actually need. What tells me that we might need more industrial, because usually industrial goes towards the uneducated and poorly educated more often than not. And if you look at let's take a look at our production in here. We kind of have a deficit, but those are the farms, right? These are the raw materials. So if you look at the material goods, where the actual industrial would perform their main job, we can see that we are having a surplus in a few areas in here, especially in a lot of petrochemicals in the city. Interesting to see that as we don't have any petrochemical, yeah, we are importing everything. Interesting. And as you can see, this is 100% importing. And I wonder why. We might provide a dedicated, or what's that called, the specialized industry for oil drilling, if we have anything around it. Thankfully, we have this area just next to where we are here with the other farm industry, and I might do that, because then this will provide us with some of that the resource that our industry is consuming. And talking about industry, although this is always specialized industry and this providing some color there doesn't really provide a natural landscape, I think we'll build some more industry on this area. We had it over here. We know that we need this kind of barrier for the water in there, otherwise the water will flood the whole city. and we can build towards this area for the industry. So I believe today this is where we will be focused on, and that will be on industrial. So seems like a good idea, seems like what the city needs, and we will work on that. And then we'll take a look and see if for 2,700-ish unemployed, if that goes down or not. Let's see. Let's take a look and see how that goes. And we have our little area for oil drilling done in here. And if you take a look at the production now, we are now producing very little 33, 54, 55-ish. It's still going up. I think it's starting to balance, but nothing compared to what we're using. But in a way, as this is potentially one of the most successful industry that we have, if we produce all of that internally, then we are making a lot more money. And not that we need to worry about money or anything like that, as you can see, but this will provide a much better industry output for us in here. It's going up. We'll take a look at this later when we finish doing the industry around it. This will also provide some places for part of the industry in here. As you can see, we have some spots in there that we can definitely use for our industry. We have a larger area towards this size, and if you look at the terrain there, we do have a bit of flat land here before we get on this kind of mess over here where we can't build much. So potentially this whole area will become industrial, and to be honest, I think I'll make it, because as we know, we are now towards the 3,000. So I add more jobs and I create more unemployment. I wonder if this is actually correct, because there's nothing really changing other than adding more jobs. But we'll see how that works. I might unlock this tile over here as well, just so we have all that. I say one tile when I get 3, but you get what I mean. Just so we can have free reign here to work on this. What I'll do, I will utilize the terrain to set a limit for the industry over there, and then I believe the industry might be better fit on a grid system around here. We do have the train station in there already, so we have structure around this. I might do some services like fire and rescue. I don't think we have anything on this side. We don't. And maybe some police. We do have police in there. I might leave that out for the moment. But yeah, maybe do even some leisure for them. Although this is the park maintenance building. So we'll take a look what we can do in here. Add something to not just add industrial zoning, although this will be mostly whatever that will be in there. And yeah, we'll see how that works in our favor or not. So I start with the road layouts, then I'll do the zoning. Potentially I'll do some zoning in here, but I want to do the road layout first, and we can get that out of the way. So let's jump into it, and I'll be right back with how this area actually looks like. All right, and here we go. So I think that's the moment of truth, that because all the industry just got in, and that's running for very little time, like not that much, but I've seen some buildings already upgrading, and hopefully while I was building all of this and this at the back here, this industry managed to get more balance and a steady output, I would say. So, few things to notice. Obviously, I've added more trees in here in the middle of these buildings because it's not because it's an industry area that it needs to look like bad. Although, obviously, an industry area will never look as great as the nice, tidy residential, but it's still, they need to breathe. And we added some trees over there. Also added this main road in here to make sure that they can cross later on. So I bought one more tile in there and left that ready. We mentioned that before in other episodes, and this is all settled. Now, has this had any effects on our employment? Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. We just brought everything down to where it was before, which is just above 500 people. That is fantastic. That is like, I couldn't have done a better sized industry and provide the right jobs in there. This is just so good. It was an accident. I haven't tried that before, but it was just nailed it. So really happy with the outcome there. We can look at our population. We had 34,000. We now have 38,000. And one thing that I noticed is that it's saying that there is high density residential demand, but unoccupied buildings. We don't have a single high density residential in the city. Not a single one. So how come unoccupied buildings can be a problem? That I don't understand that. That's another bug in the game, and just another one to the long list of things that are not actually working properly. And talk about not something not working properly, our average land value is much better now with that mod. As you can see, is not everything dark blue anymore. It's much more manageable. I don't think we have any high rent icons anymore. We do have some, not enough customers, because I think we are now in a trend where we need more people, especially with the amount of jobs that we've done in there, and that is quite good. Talking about in amount of people, let's take a look at workplace availability. So we now have a slightly buffer, very little. We can do more for the uneducated people. But for the poorly educated, we have open positions, so we can grow the city a little bit more. We have open positions for educated. We have open positions for well-educated, and still a lot of open positions for highly educated. In total, almost 2,000 open positions there in the market for everyone across all the education tiers in there. Really good, really good. Now, how this oil industry here has performed, let's take a look. And we are producing 163 tons per month, which is a lot more than zero, but not even close to what we would need in the city. That's fine. We were importing everything. We're not importing as much, but that means that we are actually be able to use some of the production that are done locally without spending as much money. That will create more income for industry, which will thrive a little bit more. Now, with all that said, there is also a couple of things, actually one thing that happened here. We've unlocked the chemical plant, which will provide more efficiency for the industrial area citywide. That is also pretty cool. And chemicals are everything, and more are made here every day. These will produce chemicals in the city, obviously. We also had the switch on that was available before. This will give more college graduation chance and industrial efficiency. I won't put that down yet, but that is coming in the near future. We will put those down. Don't worry about it. It will happen. I also just noticed that we might have a gap in here that I forgot to add in there, and we can certainly fill that gap when we look at like in empty areas. And in here there are no roads, so that's fine. And I saw there was a road in there, but um, no buildings popping up, so that makes a little bit more sense. Like this one, we have a gap in there. Let's use it. So this is bringing a lot of jobs, as we've seen. Quite happy with that. People are starting to move more into the city, so we might see this starting to go up again. That is fine. In terms of education, people are starting to get more and more educated. That is also good. And balance is provided to the city, so they are much better than they were before. I'm very happy with this. I think, or I hope you are as well, because this was a big addition, this industrial area, and we still have space to do more and add more. We'll do those signature buildings, we'll bring more industry, but I think we need to start looking at more areas for people to start moving into the city and helping our commercial be a little bit happier with their customers. So that is coming on the next episode. For now, just a big thank you for all the likes, comments, subscribers, and Patreons, and everyone that in a way or another participates on the channel. I appreciate you all. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.